सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। You have this handout now. Ashariro vayuhu abhram vidyuta stanaitnuhu asharirani etani tadyatha etani amushmadakashat samuthaya paranjyotihi उपसंपद्य स्वेन रूपेण अभिनिष्पद्यन्ते। Vayu air, a sharira is bodiless. Abhram, similarly also the white cloud, bodiless means shapeless, formless. By body is meant one that is possessed of the hands and head, so Sirf Panyadiman, possessed of the head, hands, etc. So Vayu is not like that, nor is the white cloud. Vidyut, lightning, Stanaitnu, thunder, Etani, Asharirani. So these are the examples of Asharirani, bodiless. This is, as I said, just simple examples. And what is meant by Asharirani, that are bodiless, meaning that they do not have body in a conventional sense, having hands and legs and head, etc. Tunditha etani amushmat akashat samuthaya. We discussed this example yesterday, that before the rainy season you do not see. You don't feel the wind, you do not see the clouds, you do not see the lightning, you do not hear the thunder. So all the signs of rain are not there. All of these are there, but they are not visible because all of them have now merged into Akasha. So they are indistinguishable from Akasha. Because they don't have the individual body, therefore they cannot be distinguished from Akasha. This is before the rainy season, rain. Yasa etani amushmat akashat samuthaya. Now all of these samuttaya arising out of that akasha. Param jyotihi upasampadya svena rupena abhinishpadyante. Now when summer comes and the sun, it shines, scorching sun and shines of summer, and that is the beginning of rainy season. And so one by one the signs of rain start appearing in the sky, and you feel the wind, and you see the clouds, and you see the lightning, and you see the rain. So they were all there. Not that these were non-existent, they were all existent, except that they were not distinguished from each other, they did not have their own form. So rain is rain, lightning is lightning, cloud is cloud, thunder is thunder. Now all of them have attained their form. How did this happen? Param jyotihi upasampadya. When the sun starts, scorching sun starts shining, then all of these as though separate from their indistinguishable form into the distinct forms. Evameva. So next one says, Evameva eshaha samprasadaha asmat sharirat samuttaya paranjyotihi upasampadya svena rupena avinishpadyate. So let us take this much. Evam eva, in a manner similar to the example that was given. Yesha samprasadaha. This samprasadaha, yesterday we discussed, samyak prasidati samprasadaha, one who is pleasant, who is very happy with oneself. Samprasadaha. And this word samprasadaha is generally used for the deep sleeper. Because as I said yesterday, for a sleeping person is out of contact with any of those things that can create complex in him, that can create a sense of limitedness in him, and therefore that can create conflict and dukkha in him. Therefore, you can say that the Atma is in its own essential nature. Atma is always samprasadaha, always of the nature of ananda. But in the waking state, because of the identification of the gross body, he also comes in contact with the outside world. And therefore, sasharira identified with the body. Priya preha apahatihi nasti. Therefore, there is no escape from priya apriya, no escape from this attack of the opposites, namely desirable, undesirable. So the waking state, because of identification of the body, there are hardly any moments when we are free from this attack, you can say. You should not call it attack, but the thing is, our mind is such. It gets influenced by whatever it perceives, whatever it experiences. And it is the nature of mind to brand whatever it experiences. What is experienced is whatever it is. But it is the nature of my mind to brand it desirable, undesirable. It's quite likely that what I brand as desirable is what you may brand as undesirable. So in a given situation, I may react with pleasure or happiness, you may react with pain. But talking about the story of an individual, thus in the waking state, because of identification of the body, is always in contact with the desirable, undesirable. In fact, he is only in contact with the world. He brands it desirable and undesirable. Which means we have a choice of not branding things. It has become our habit to brand whatever we come in contact with, desirable, undesirable. We have a choice not to do that. So it is the habit of the mind, and we can address this mind. Why do you call this desirable? Why do you call it undesirable? Like a child's habit to just cry. See something there, see something, and then no reason sometimes for crying, no reason for reacting, no reason for behaving the way sometimes people do. And so also the Atma keeps on behaving like this. Keeps on branding things and then suffering. It is not that there is pain because of the world, or it is not that the contact with the world necessarily makes one happy. It is the branding of the world that I do. That is what causes reaction in me. I brand something as undesirable and I react in one way. I want to get rid of it. I want to create distance. I don't want it. I brand something else as desirable and then I want to have it, I want to possess it, I want to enjoy it. So, moment something is branded as desirable or undesirable, my own mind will react accordingly. Once that branding is, I have no freedom. I have no freedom in not reacting. Once the judgment is made that this is desirable, then the mind will react in some way, then it doesn't ask me. And moment I brand something as undesirable, my mind will react. One with raga or dvesha, attachment, aversion. So attachments and aversions of the reactions are the result of our branding. Not the world is like that. You follow? The world is what it is. The way I react in any given situation is not so the situation, but the way I perceive the situation. Meaning that I do not respond to the world as it is. I respond to the world as I perceive it at a given point in time. That is, as I judge it at a given point in time, desirable, undesirable. You have to observe this. You have to recognize the habit of the mind and how this poor mind creates misery for its own self by all the time branding and reacting, branding and reacting, branding and reacting. Suppose it does not brand. This is fine. It's good as it is. It is in order. Suppose the mind says, it is in order, it is in order, it is in order. You know then what? No reaction. No reaction of rejection or acceptance. Then what will be? Then there is what we call the happiness, the plus cheerfulness. So that is the freedom we have, and that's the freedom, of course, is one of the freedoms that Upanishad wants us to acquire. But anyway, that is how this one keeps on reacting like this. Evameva esha samprasadaha, in the waking state, reacting like this. Dream state, reacting to the objects he has created by himself. In deep sleep state, by the grace of Ishvara, there is no occasion to react. Because there is no creation around him, either gross creation, subtle creation, and therefore now he is in a state where there is no occasion to react. And when he does not react, then he is by himself. That's called samprasada. Waking state also, if we do not react, we are samprasada. Meaning that we are the pleasant ones. Happiness is our nature, and that's what we are in the waking state also. But we deny that nature of ourselves by these reactions. In deep sleep state, there is no occasion to react. Because there is nothing to react to, therefore, I remain what I naturally am. That is the samprasada. Asmat sharira samuttaya. Now, what's the reason why in the deep sleep state is samprasada? Because there is no identification of the body. No identification of the gross body, subtle body, there is samprasada. So what happens by nature? We have freedom to do it intentionally, deliberately. Because in deep sleep state I become free from the identification with the body. That means it is not my nature. In the waking also, when I thought myself to be so and so, that was not my nature. So had I been so and so, in deep sleep state also I would have been that alone. The nature will never go. What is unnatural, what is incident alone can come and go, what is essential can never go. The fact that in the deep sleep state, the idea that I am so and so arising from the body identification is not there, that means this body identification is not inherent. Therefore it goes away. So I can deliberately do it now. So we can learn lesson from the deep sleep state. And in deep sleep state, for no other reason we are happy. Not that there is any object of happiness there. No rasagulla in deep sleep state. Or whatever, nothing, it is not there. And still we are happy. So therefore Vedanta points to deep sleep state as an evidence that Atma is of the nature of happiness. Because in deep sleep state, all there is myself. And there is no object of experience at that time. And still I am happy. That shows that I am the source of the happiness. And therefore, Vivekachurana and other texts present deep sleep state as an evidence of Atma being of the nature of Ananda. So it's called Samprasada. So Samprasada means two things. One is a deep sleeper who thus enjoys his essential nature of happiness. And there is a wise person who has recognized that Ananda as his nature. So wise person does not need the state of deep sleep to be able to enjoy that Ananda which is his nature. The otherwise ignorant person needs the experience of deep sleep state. But the wise person does not need. Because what happens in deep sleep state by nature is what you can accomplish deliberately by de-identifying with the body. Evam eva esha samprasadaha. So just as all this air and cloud and rain and thunder, etc., they arise from the akasha and then get to their own nature, so also this is Jivatma. So samprasada can mean Jivatma also, is Atma also, wise person also. Asmat sharira samuttaya, arising from this body. Arising, he rises. So samuttaya is the expression or the verb used for this vayu, etc., arising from the akasha. There is no arising here. Not that the Atma arises from the body, but just as they separate from akasha, so also Atma becomes separate from the body. What happens, Swami? Some people report what they call the experience of the death. What is it? Near death. So he is there, Death is happening in his body, he is there. Swami, I was watching. watching what is happening here and how people came and whatever else they did. That's what they report. So that is samutthana. There is no such samutthana meant here that he really separates from the body. That's not intended here. What is intended is that his notion that I am one with the body, he becomes free from that notion. That's all. Fortunately, no action is to perform. All that is to be recognized is what is. So by the grace of the teacher and the scriptures, as Indra was taught by Prajapati, first he was told that you are the waker, then he was told you are the dreamer. That means that you are not the gross body. You are a sleeper, which means you are not the subtle body. You are Samprasad, you are not the causal body. In stages, Prajapati imparted teaching to Indra. Not right away was told you are Samprasad, you are Brahman. It can be told, depends upon the Adhikari. The kind of Adhikari that Indra was needed this communication in stages, so that every stage Indra is prepared for the next one. In case Indra is not prepared, he is advised to spend 32 more years to be prepared for the next instruction. So, as far as we are concerned, it means that we have to grow constantly. So, this 32 years of penance indicates a self-growth on the part of Indra. Self-growth means the antahkarana shuddhi on the part of Indra. That his antahkaranam progressively becomes purer and purer. Because Vishuddha Sattva. Then he can be told, Bhagavan Martyam Vayadam Shariram. Hey Bhagavan, this Sharira is mortal. The gross and subtle body, that this complex Upadhi is mortal. Tadasya, Amrutasya, Asharirasya, Atmana Adhishthanam. It is presided over by. So this body is the seat of the expression of the Atma, that is body, unembodied, that is immortal, that is fearless, that is Brahman. It is the seat of expression, or it is the seat for his enjoyment. That means he is different from this. So that way, the difference between the body and the Atma was shown. Asma, Sarira, Samuthaya. When Indra appreciates what the teacher is saying, first he appreciated that I am the dreamer, which I am not the waker, which means I am not the gross body. Then appreciated I am the sleeper, that means I am not the dreamer, that means I am not the subtle body. Who is the waker? Atma, identified with the gross body, is called the waker. Vishwa. Atma, identified with the subtle body, is called the dreamer, Taijasa. Atma, identified with the causal body, is called the sleeper, Prajna. I mean, this kind of background is taken for granted here in this. There are likely that there are some of you who were never exposed, what is this Veka Swami? What is this Vishwa? What is Taijasa? What is Prajna? Never heard of that. Which I appreciate. Maybe we should have started with a more fundamental lesson. That we go through these three states of awareness, you can call it. Waking, dream and deep sleep. Waking state, our personality is fully expressed. Because I am functioning through the gross body, my mind, prana, the entire personality is functioning. So I am called Vishwa, complete one. Then, for in the dream, I give up the identification of the gross body. That time I identify the mind. I create my own world. And then that also I drop. You get tired. A waking state you get tired so that you create your own world. Because this person, husband, poor fellow is diabetic. So his wife makes sure that he doesn't get this. So now many guests are invited and he also, everybody is sitting around the table. And they serve what is it? Rasamalai. So Swami says to the hostess, come on, give it to him also. No, he doesn't get it, He thought that big Swami just came, he may get it. I was about to serve him myself. He said, no, he doesn't get it. So poor fellow, in the dream then he creates his own Rasamalai. And eats as much as he wants. The vasanas which are left unsatisfied in the waking, they become the dream world. But that is the dream, where we create our own world. And that also is given up. I get fed up with that and I go to sleep, and there is complete freedom. So Ratva Charitva, the thing is, this experience of waking, dream, deep sleep show that Atma is asango hyayam purusha. The Viditatmananda presents these three states of experience to draw our attention that asango, this purusha is asanga, unconnected. Anandvagato tatra bhavati. He experiences all the waking experiences, pleasure and pain. Look at Vairagya. In a waking state, I have all these things, I have created my whole world around me. And I just drop everything here. Anandvagatastena bhavati. I leave everything here and go to the dream and create my own world. Then also, Ratva, Charitva, there also I experience the pleasure, so punyam, papam, pleasure and pain I experience. And he just drops everything there and walks away. Atma walks away from the waking world and goes to dream world. Dream world is created by himself, he walks away from there. That is called Vairagya. Asangoyam Purusha, this Purusha, Asanga, unconnected, goes to sleep. Then he experiences again the pleasure, pain, whatever it is there, lets it go, comes to waking. This shows the asangatvam of the Atma, the observation about the whole day's life. The situations or the states that we pass through, waking, dream, deep sleep, they themselves show that we are unconnected. Except then the teacher points out that, hey, you are unconnected. Asmat Sharirat Samuttaya, thus arising from this body, meaning that becoming free from the identification of the body. By the instruction of the teacher makes me see basically. What is meant by the Vedanta or any teaching, in Vedantic teaching in particular, ultimately I have to see that. Teacher assists me in enabling me to see. He cannot see for me, unfortunately. If the teacher can see for us, then we will be all enlightened, But we have to see it for ourselves. And teacher makes us do that. Asmat Sharirat Samuttaya. So by the instruction of Prajapati, thus this Indra also arose from this body, meaning that recognize that this gross body I am not, subtle body I am not, causal body I am not. Given by the simple observation of the three states that when I am dreaming, where is the gross body? I am unconnected with it. When I am sleeping, where is subtle body? I am unconnected with it. Meaning that I exist even if I am not identified with gross body. I thought that if the gross body goes, I will also go. The birth of this is my birth, the death of this is my death, and I want to hold on to that. But every day I give up this thing. Every day I give up this thing. When I go to sleep. In the dream I create my own another body. And then I hold on to that. That also I give up. When I go to sleep. So all of these are just... So what the teacher does is points to the day-to-day experience that we are going through. That we are, we are giving up a costume, the second costume, third costume. Asmat, Sharira, Samuthaya, arising from this body, meaning from the identification of the body. Param Jyoti Upasampadya. He attains the Param Jyoti. Here Param Jyoti is the consciousness. Upasampadya, attaining the Param Jyoti, recognizing himself as Param Jyoti, as consciousness. That is what I am even when I am identified with the body. That's what I am. The actor is a wealthy person. Even if he identifies with the beggar, he is still a wealthy person. And so also this samprasada, regardless of what I look upon myself as, Svena Rupena Abhinishpadyate, and thus he becomes established in his own nature. What is the nature? Saha Uttamah Purushaha. So here we said yesterday that he is called Uttamah Purushaha. Uttara, Uttama. Above. Uttara, more above. Uttama, most above. The waker and dreamer. Uttara, the sleeper. Uttama, the samprasada. Uttama Purusha. So, Uttamaschaso Purushasya, Karmadhaya Samasa is what Bhashyakara took here. So, here the Uttama Purusha, that is the text. What we have is Uttama Purusha. So apparently two kind of readings are there. This book that I have says Uttama Purusha. The handout that you have says Uttama Purusha. Then there is nothing to say because then Uttama becomes a Visheshana. Uttama Purusha is interpreted Karmadhara Samasa. Uttamaschaso, that is Uttama as well as Purusha. Who is Purusha? Purnatvat Purusha. So one who is Purna is called a Purusha. And Puraushete also is Purusha. The one that is self of all those is Purusha. One who dwells in the body of the city of the body, as a king, and the king dwells in this city but is unconnected to the city, so also the self dwells in this body unconnected. So Uttama Purushaha, Uttama Purushaha. Then the Upanishad further says, So Tatra Pariyeti. Pari plus E, Pariyeti, Eti. E in Gatau moves about. So there, Saha, Tatra, note here, Saha, that, Tatra, there. Pariyeti moves about. See, all these pronouns are used, therefore we have to understand what a given pronoun stands for. Saha, that one. Who must be that one? Yes. Just now, Uttamah Purusha was mentioned. So Saha means there. Tatra. So the he and there, Tatra. That will be interesting. Tatra means what? There. There is also a pronoun. So what would that be? Uttama Purusha, Uttama Purushe. This one, who is Uttama Purusha, in his own self, Tatra. Uttama Purusha in his own self. Swasthataya sarvatma buddha pariyeti, moves about. So wise person moves about in his own self. Wise person recognizes himself what? Uttama Purusha. I am Uttama and I am Purusha. I am Purusha, the consciousness. Uttama, the most exalted. But then, most exalted means these fellows are all idiots. I am Brahman and everybody is. So what is the vision of the wise person? I am Brahman. You people are all, Jivatmas. No. Sarvatma Bhutaha. Purusha means Purnatvat Purusha. Or Purishayanat Purusha. He knows him as Purusha, as Purna, as complete. At the same time also knows himself to be Sarvatma Bhuta, as self of all. So that's the beauty of this knowledge. That the wise person recognizes himself as equal to everybody. Self of all. In his vision, all there is I, there is nobody superior, nobody inferior. Sayaschayam Purushe, Yascha Savaditya, Saikaha. The one that is in this Purusha, the individual, the one that is in Aditya, the cosmos, is also the one. So, although we experience all the differences, the variety and diversity we experience also the inequality, called disparity. In spite of, so there are no two things that are equal. And in spite of that, Upanishad says he sees the self everywhere. Now, how do I see myself everywhere, in everyone? That includes mosquito also, by the way. And that bee that stung last night, that is also included. Now that is very great, that requires, but then that is how large-hearted the wise person is, includes everything. Because his own basically what has changed is his own perception of himself. And therefore the perception of everything else also has changed. He does not judge himself by the upadhi, otherwise that you cannot escape the idea of good, bad, great, right, wrong. He does not judge himself by the upadhi. That I am a jnani, that vice, that notion also he doesn't have. And then he is able to see himself as the self of all, regardless of what the upadhi is, what the costume is. Recognize that I am the one that is manifesting through all the costumes. And therefore, what names and forms I see are no more than costumes. And it does not matter what the costume is. If we know the costume as costume, then it doesn't matter what it is. If I take costume to Rio, then this is a king and this is a beggar, then the difference will be there. But I know that king also is a costume, beggar also is a costume. It doesn't matter what the costume is, because I realize that one who is wearing the costume is different. So these are all costumes. In that the wise person sees himself manifesting through all the costumes. Swasthataya sarvatma bhutah pariyeti, he moves about. Where? In his own self? Because that's all there is. Where will a wise person move about? When he sees himself sarvatma, the self of all he sees is himself. So he moves about. Where will he move about? In his own self? Sapariyeti, moves about in Uttama Purusha, in the self, because that's all there is in his vision. Kvachi Indradhyatmana. And then the passage describes Jakshat Kridat Ramamana. So see the translation, Jakshat, laughing or eating, two meanings can be there. Kridan, playing. Strivihiva with women. Yanirva with vehicles. Jnatamirva with relations. Ramanaha rejoicing. Sounds very mundane, is it not so? Sounds very worldly. He is playing and sporting with women and with friends and with vehicles. And perhaps seeing this picture, I don't care for this. But no, it's not literally meant that he is, he's reveling with people and he's sporting with women and stuff like that. What is meant is that the ananda or happiness that one may gain by doing this, he already has, that's all. Here is the nature of ananda, which includes this and everything. So snute sarvan kaman sa brahmana vipaschiteti. ChandogyaUpanishad says, Satyam jnanamanantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyovan. So one who sees Brahman, the self, in one's own heart, as one's own self. So snute sarvan kaman saha. This wise person simultaneously ashnute experiences all the pleasures. Now is it possible? We experience the pleasure through our sense organs, And the mind, these are all very limited things, so what you can experience is also very limited. How can the wise person experience all the pleasures together? Meaning that it cannot be through sense organs. Through the mind, Brahmana, Vipaschita, as Brahman, as omniscient, he as though experiences all the pleasure, means of the nature of ananda. So here it is described this way, not that he sports with women and this and that, all that stuff, which he may, I don't know, but then he doesn't have to. To be happy, to gain that happiness of sporting, etc., he doesn't need to do this because it is so. Atma, what is it? Even Bhagavad Gita also says, Jasva Atma Tarevasya Atma Truptasya Manaha Atma Niva Santushtaha Tasya Karyam Vidyate. Atma Ratihi Vasyat, one who revels in himself. Atma Truptasya, one who is content with himself. Atma Santushta, satisfied with himself. So, all these, what is it? All levels of happiness he gains, Priya, Moda, Pramoda, whatever you call it. He gets it from Atma. Meaning, he abides in happiness. It's not a matter of getting or experiencing. Ananda is in self, and therefore you are Ananda, not that you're experiencing Ananda. But how to describe that? So this is describing in mundane words. So people who are listening, they will say, oh, this is what, then I want this. So this is what people would be attracted to. Wow, he has all the vehicles. Now he gets all the divine vehicles, he gets all the apsaras and stuff like that. And then I guess that's worthwhile. So sometimes the result is described in mundane terms in order just to give us an idea of what happiness is. Chakshatsan, bhakshan va, uchchavachan, ipsitan, etc., etc. How? Chinmanomatrahi sankalpadeva samuttitaihi. So it's not that people are there for him to necessarily sport with. Here Bhashyakara says that by will, whatever he can experience everything by will. So not to be taken in primary sense, but that he abides in Ananda. That's the whole idea here. No upajanam shariram nasmaran. He does not remember his body. So he doesn't see the body. Says does not remember the body. You can literally take it as does not remember the body. He is so detached with the body and that For him, every body is the same, and therefore that this is my body, etc., is no more there. He is totally free from identification with the body. And he does not remember body means that he is so absorbed in the fact that I am Brahman, that as far everything is out of his consciousness. That also you can say. Then there is some further description also here. स प्रयोज्यः प्रयोग्यः यथा आचरणे युक्तः. So look at the second page, next page, 610. स प्रयोग्यः. Prayoga means an animal, a horse or a bullock. Acharane yuktah is attached to a chariot or a cart, just as a bullock is harnessed to a cart or a horse is harnessed to a chariot. Example. Evam eva ayam pranah asmin share asmin yuktah. So also this prana is harnessed to the body. So body is now compared to a chariot or a bullock. And just as the bullock is pulled, just as a cart is pulled by a bullock, or a chariot is pulled by a horse, so this is pulled by prana. What is that? Prana means the vital air. And that vital air or prana is what in fact provides a dynamism to the entire body. The whole body, sense organs, mind, all of these enjoy a dynamism. The Kriya Shakti, the activity, is because prana makes them all dynamic. So in case of wise person now, the prana performs all activities. So who performs in our case? Here also prana alone performs all activities. So what's the difference? Now in case of wise person, the prana performs all activities. Just as a horse pulls a chariot or a bullock pulls a cart, so also now the prana pulls his body, performs all activities. That's the big deal. What's the difference? Difference is that I think that I am performing activity. Right now when this talking is taking place, what do I say? I am talking. What does wise person say? Prana is talking. You follow the difference? Now you are listening. What do you say? I am listening. What do they say? Prana is listening. Listening is taking place. Somebody is listening. Somebody is talking. But because of identification, I say, I am talking. I am listening. The fact is that it is prana that is talking, the prana that is listening, the prana that is performing all the actions through the organs of perception, through the organs of action, through the mind. So prana or Hiranyagarbha is appointed to do all this. Prashnopanishad says, how Ishvara appointed this prana. So by Yasya Utkramane, who departs and I will depart, and who will enter, I will enter, Bhagavan thought. Then prana. So when prana enters, he says, I will enter. When he departs, I will depart. In short, all the activities in our body, etc., are all carried out by prana. No, Swamiji, I am talking and I am listening. What do you mean prana? So we think that I am talking and I am listening. But what is my role then? Swami, prana is talking and prana is listening. What is my role? What do you think is my role? I am doing nothing. Even observing also is an action, sort of. I just am. In my presence, everything takes place. Bhagavad Gita describes this beautifully. Neva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavid pashyan shruvan sprashan jagyananasna, etc., etc. Bhagavad Gita says that the wise person says that I do not do anything. He is seeing, hearing, eating, drinking, talking, walking, all of these is doing. He says, I don't do anything. He says, I do not do anything. For that he is to talk. Is it not so? He says, I do not do anything. But then who is talking? I am not talking. But that you are saying in words. It sounds funny, isn't it? Or contradictory. Wise person says, I am not talking. Now who is talking? The I am is not talking. We connect the I am with talking, I am with hearing, I am with... So we connect I am with everything, and that is why this I am seems to be, is credited with or accused of talking, walking, etc. I am not even an observer, I just am, that's all. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Lord Krishna says, it is just by my conscious presence that the Prakriti performs the acts of creation, sustenance, dissolution. So that's how the wise person is, doesn't do anything. And everything still gets done. Because now, in the worldly terms, we can say that the wise person now has no agenda of his own. Prajahati yada kaman, Lord Krishna says, when he gives up all desires, meaning that he has given up all agenda. He has no agenda. So this is how Vedanta says, who is the perfect person who has no agenda? That means he doesn't do anything, isn't it? No agenda, I mean nothing to accomplish. That becomes a useless person or what? No, he has nothing to accomplish for himself. Then what does he do? Now therefore he is devoted to the accomplishment of what Ishvara wants him to do. He has become totally an instrument in the hands of Ishvara, like a flute in the hand of Lord Krishna. So flute permits Lord Krishna to bring out whatever tune he wants. Flute says, wait, no, I don't like this. Hey Krishna, I do not like this. Play this. No. Totally permits the musician to play whatever it wants. So also the wise person becomes totally an instrument in the hands of the Lord, who functions through him. Prayojya. Therefore he doesn't do anything, prana does, meaning that Ishvara. Prana also can stand up Hiranyagarbha, and that is what does everything. He does not do anything. This is called total freedom. Now, that's the way of describing freedom. The Upanishad way of describing freedom is it doesn't do anything. Doesn't sound very exciting, Swamiji, in this world. What do you mean he doesn't do anything? Who is going to feed him? If he does not do anything, then who will feed him? Isn't it? You get something only when you contribute something. That's what you've been telling us, Swamiji. Now this fellow stopped contributing also. Prajahati yada kaman. He doesn't expect that he should be fed also. All agenda is given up, all demands are also given up. Who takes care of this? Who wants to take care? Ishvara takes care. So this is how the scriptures describe the wise person differently in different places. But satatra pariyeti. He moves about in Brahman. He moves about in Uttama Purusha. He does not move out on this earth. He moves about where? In Brahman, in consciousness, in self. We also move out there only. But then we think that we are moving out on this earth because where are you sitting, Swami? On the chair. Because I think I am the body. He knows he is a self-consciousness, therefore he is the self of all. So this is how the text concludes with the description of the wise person of Indra, who gained the wisdom as a result of the teaching of Prajapati. And so this is the result of the reward of the knowledge. it is described in very old-fashioned terms. Everything is old-fashioned here. The illustrations are old-fashioned. The words are old-fashioned. The descriptions are old-fashioned. Old-fashioned means in those days of the Upanishads. What we call rustic, But in these words, these are Upanishads are like that because they were uttered, I don't know, thousands of years ago. So they didn't have jet planes, they didn't have Sputniks, they don't have any, these kind of illustrations those days. Satellites, etc. Today, when a teacher perhaps teaches, illustrations will be different. Not that a horse is attached here, an engine is attached to the car, something like that he will say. Not a horse is attached to a chariot, or a bullock is attached to the cart. A Rolls-Royce engine is attached to the car. But whatever the language is, whatever illustrations are, but these illustrations are very effective to convey what they need to convey. So thus with the description of wise person, this text is complete. This is the 8th chapter of the ChandogyaUpanishad. Different, every chapter is different, every chapter is unique. 6th was different, 7th was different, 8th is different. The Bhashyakara will take pains to connect the earlier one with the 6th and 6th with the 7th and 7th with the 8th, that is his job. But then each one is sort of beautiful in its own way, own independent way. And that is how we conclude our discussion of this 8th chapter of the ChandogyaUpanishad. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So what's the next session now?